The story of dirty medical gloves from Thailand continues to make headlines, with officials ramping up investigations. Meanwhile, Thailand defends its decision to spend 100 million baht on two global singing stars for the New Year's Eve festivities in Phuket. More on these stories and many more coming right up. Welcome to the Thaiger channel, and you're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest top stories in Thailand and beyond. So be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date. And following a CNN investigation into the export of millions of substandard medical gloves from Thailand, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has tasked his deputy with delving further into the matter. Deputy Prime Minister and Commerce Minister Narin Laksana-Wiset will take the reins of a probe looking into the issues which has attracted global headlines since the CNN report. The defective medical equipment made its way into the international supply chain, with an underground industry having emerged in Southeast Asia in the wake of the global pandemic. Tens of millions of counterfeit and second-hand nitrile gloves had ended up on U.S. shores. Some gloves were dirty and had bloodstains. In the U.S., import regulations related to protective medical equipment were temporarily suspended in the wake of the pandemic. One of the companies in question, Patty the Room, was raided by the Thai FDA last year. However, it subsequently relocated its operations. So far, the Thai Commerce Ministry has requested further information from the US FDA, and Thailand's Consumer Protection Police Division has forwarded the two cases reported by CNN to public prosecutors. The Thai Prime Minister is standing firm amid fierce criticism of a plan to spend 100 million baht on two global singing stars for New Year's Eve festivities in Phuket. Prayut Chan-o-cha has defended the government's plan to spend around $3 million to secure Italian tenor Andrea Bocelli and Lalisa Manoban from the K-pop band Blackpink. Critics have pointed out that the money should be spent on supporting the small businesses struggling to survive the financial devastation caused by the pandemic. However, government spokesman Thanakorn Wangboonkhongchana says separate funds have been set aside to fund economic revival. He says the costs of hiring the New Year's Eve performers are part of the tourism promotional budget, which he deems to be a vital part of Thailand's imminent reopening. Tourism Minister Pipat Ratchakitprakarn has also defended the plan to bring both superstars to Thailand, insisting it has economic value and that most of the cost will be covered by private sector sponsorship. The Disease Control Department has confirmed that Thailand has recorded its first case of the Delta Plus variant, but insists there's no cause for alarm. The Delta Plus variant was first reported in the UK, which is currently experiencing a surge in infections. Delta Plus cases in the UK have increased in the past 28 days and account for 6% of infections. However, Dr. Chawet-san Namwat from the DCD says the WHO has not classified Delta Plus as a variant of concern and says people in Thailand should not be worried. It's understood the Department of Medical Sciences will hold a press conference today to provide more information on the case. Meanwhile, Chawet-san revealed that Bangkok and the surrounding provinces are continuing to see a drop in new infections, but cases in the south of the country are still rising and now make up 23% of all new cases nationwide. However, he went on to say that the vaccine rollout is continuing successfully, with over 70 million doses now administered nationwide since February the 28th. Just under 40 million people have received their first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, while around 28.3 million have received both. Some 2.1 million have received a third or booster dose. The Student Union of Chulalongkorn University has controversially ditched its tradition of holding a royal parade ahead of its annual football match with Thammasat University. The decision to scrap the Prakyel parade, which students say promotes authoritarianism and inequality, has sparked fierce debate between Thailand's progressive thinkers and its traditional conservatives. The Chulalongkorn student body has issued a statement to confirm the move, which all 29 members voted for unanimously. In a statement, the student body said that, quote, the procession of Prakio supports and reflects authoritarian regimes and a belief that people are not equal. This form of procession also represents feudalism by lifting one group higher than others. The Prakio parade is a long-held tradition which honors Chulalongkorn's royal roots. Some have noted the timing of the announcement coming as it did on Chulalongkorn Day, which commemorates the death of King Rama V, founder of the university. The parade dates back some 6 decades and involves 50 students carrying a male and female participant on a royal transportation platform known as a palanquin. It takes place before the annual football match between Chulalongkorn and Thammasat University, usually held in January. In the wake of the decision to ditch the parade, opinion has fiercely been divided. But before we hear opinion on both sides, here's a quick message from our sponsor.
Hi, back to the program soon, but I've got Sean standing here from 5 Star Marine and we're at Maiton Island. Sean, you were saying as we were coming out here that you're really starting to see a change in the mood, something we haven't seen for a few years.
Yeah, I think the seasons changed, which made it nice and beautiful to be out on the water, but also people are feeling a lot more positive about the situation globally, which is really allowing us to see tourism return. Us as a company, we've been able to increase the amount of people that we're employing, also help a lot of other businesses out here. Like today on this boat, we have one guide with us, and he's been able to move from his home province back here to Phuket to work.
Well, now this is a big thing because, of course, the biggest problem we had with all the layoffs is that so many people had to move away from the island, had to move away from Phuket. Now, hopefully they can start coming back. So it's not only about people coming here and enjoying the island to go on these great tours, but you're actually doing something really important for the local economy.
Yeah, there's a whole domino effect that when someone comes in here and they book a hotel, and then the hotel's got staff, and then that staff's family are being supported now. So this is all great news, and I'm really positive about it, and let's just hope that this continues going forward.
So the islands are mostly opening, and how many islands around Phuket?
We're at 11 destinations right now that are open and available within 1 hour of Phuket.
And honestly, it's never looked better. You're going to have a lot of the beaches to yourself. The tours obviously aren't going to be quite as busy as they used to be, so it's a great time to come back. Thailand opening, as you know, and Phuket already open. The sandbox is here, so welcome back to the islands.
A former university student has taken to Facebook to praise the decision to abolish the parade, saying, quote, "You did something that I have never thought of. Thank you for your courage to stand up and fight for this. Even though the university is linked to a royal name, we no longer need to carry on this feudal tradition." However, the famous Thai novelist and former ambassador to Argentina, Narisarod Phuangrabin, disagrees. He says, "Kids these days think like artificial intelligence, no sense of gratitude or respect for their elders. Discourteous like a robot. They think that everything must be equal. They cannot understand complex, multi-dimensional concepts like how humans are flesh and blood with parents and siblings." The rescue divers who saved the 12 football players and their coach trapped in a flooded cave say they now face arrest for giving the boys ketamine to sedate them during the underwater journey out of the cave. British divers Rick Stanton and John Valanthan say they warned that if any of the boys died from taking the sedative drug, which is used as a tranquilizer for horses and also as a party drug, that they could be arrested. The 12 Wild Boars football players, aged 11 to 16, and their 25-year-old coach were exploring the Tham Luang Nang Non cave in Chiang Rai in June 23rd of 2018, but heavy rainfall partially flooded the cave, leaving them trapped inside. Divers found the team alive on July the 2nd, and they were rescued a week later. In a recent interview with The Sun, John told reporters that the risk to them was that they could potentially end up in the Thai judicial system. The Sun says the doctor on site was concerned that the drugs might kill the boys, but John argued that if the divers took the do-nothing option, the boys were going to die. According to a 2019 CNN report, medics who treated the football team say ketamine played a key role in the dangerous mission to safely extract them from the cave. The drug helped calm the boys, and reports say it also reduced the risk of hypothermia as the drug, quote, impairs shivering and is associated with smaller drops in core body temperature. Following the successful 3-day rescue mission, John and Rick were awarded the UK's George Medal for acts of great bravery. U.S. President Joe Biden is set to take part in a virtual summit with the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, marking the first time the U.S. has joined since Donald Trump attended a meeting in 2017. The U.S. Embassy in Brunei has confirmed Biden will lead the U.S. delegation for the summit amid a series of meetings set to take place between regional leaders this week. The White House has revealed that Biden will lead initiatives to strengthen the U.S.-ASEAN partnership against the backdrop of efforts to end the COVID pandemic, tackle climate crisis, bolster economic growth, and deal with various regional challenges and opportunities. While analysts point to the Biden administration's efforts to harness support in pushing back against China, U.S. officials have not specifically mentioned China in the lead-up to the meeting. Efforts are also currently underway to arrange a virtual summit between Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping before the end of the year. Officials also expect Biden to assure ASEAN that the U.S.'s recent engagements with India, Japan, and Australia, tagged as the Quad grouping, along with a deal to supply Australia nuclear-powered submarines, are not intended to detract from ASEAN's key role in the region. Washington's Center for Strategic and International Studies says that Biden will want to assure ASEAN leaders that, quote, Southeast Asia matters to his administration. Moreover, leaders will be keen to learn of any U.S. plans related to boosting COVID vaccine provisions in the region, along with how the U.S. intends to engage on trade, investment, and infrastructure. And that wraps up our report for today, but check out the videos that just popped up to continue watching other shows on the Thaiger. And Thailand News Today will be back tomorrow. Meanwhile, you're now up to date on the Thaiger.